Hello and welcome to another revision talk through from me, the history tutor, and in this video we're going to be looking at Germany 1890 to 1945, and the first section is 1890 to 1914, the rule of the Kaiser. So the purpose of this video is to talk you through all the key knowledge and all the key facts about the Kaiser's Reich 1890 to 1914, to give you some of the problems he faced and some of his policies and what life was like in Germany at this time. So watch it through a few times to get your understanding of all the knowledge, and then have a look at my tutoring videos and my revision guide to test your skills and develop your really good exam technique. Okay, now over to the revision. So let's start our story with how Germany was created. Now, Germany was a very young nation in 1890 when our course begins. Germany had only been created in 1870. Germany before this had been a collection of small states, as you can see in the map in the picture. Prussia had been the largest one, had been very dominant economically. It had a big economic union around all the Germanic states. Prussia was the most powerful, therefore, and was very militaristic, had a very strong army, had been very successful in recent wars. In 1870, Prussia had an argument with France, and alongside an alliance with the other German states, went to war with France. They defeated France. France was one of the great powers of Europe. Germany was not seen as one of the great powers of Europe, but this war brought all the states together under the rule of the Prussians, and Germany was united. So overnight, this massive, powerful Germanic nation appeared in Europe. It upset the balance of power of Europe and changed things for the future. So what was the rule of Germany like? So in 1871, Germany, as I said, was created under Prussian rule. So the Prussian king became the emperor, and that's known as the Kaiser. The Kaiser also had a Reichstag, a parliament to help to run the country. This was not a fully representative parliament, and it didn't have full powers. It could suggest and discuss policies only. The Chancellor was the Prime Minister. He was appointed by the Kaiser to run the Reichstag and run the government. Each state within this system, and the states are those small states that formed Germany when it united, had their own parliament. So there's a federal system here, and those states' parliaments are called the Bundesrat. So there's lots of different elements of power here. So that could be one problem the Kaiser has in terms of ruling the country and keeping order. So when our course takes place from 1890, Kaiser Wilhelm II is in charge of Germany. Okay, so what was the Kaiser like as a person? So he was quite rude and unpredictable. He had a challenging childhood. He had some hearing problems and was expected to still be able to ride a horse, have balance, all those things. So his challenging childhood may have made him quite challenging as a person. He was very ambitious for Germany. He wanted a big empire and a big navy. He was the grandson of Queen Victoria, and Queen Victoria's Britain had a huge navy, a huge empire. He wanted Germany to rival Britain. He believed in militarism and a strong army. He was a Prussian. Prussians had a strong military tradition. He believed that Germany should have that strong military tradition and be a strong military power. However, Germany was very modern and it had industrialized, and so there was a large amount of socialism. So socialism is this idea of left-wing political thought based around better conditions for the workers. And this was an increasing threat to life in Germany, particularly for the rich elite. So problem one that the Kaiser faced was socialism. Now you can quite easily be set questions about the problems the Kaiser faced and how he tried to deal with this as explain questions or describe questions in your exam. So be aware of socialism being one of the problems. So by 1900, 1 in 3 Germans voted for the Social Democratic Party, and they were the largest party in the Reichstag. So that meant they could obviously campaign and demand lots of expenditure changes to improve the conditions of the poor and the workers. So the Kaiser made some laws to improve factory conditions and try to improve housing and wages for workers, but to really make their lives hugely better, it's going to be very, very expensive, and you can't have pensions, nice houses, really good working conditions, and a big navy and a big military. Remember, the Kaiser wanted militarism as well. So how did he try and solve this problem of socialism? So he just tried to distract people by empire building and nationalist policies like empires and navy building. So we've got events like the Moroccan crisis where the Kaiser is trying to bully France into giving over Morocco to the Germans as a piece of empire. For 1906, they had a very aggressive naval building program that led to a massive rivalry with the British, and Britain was more likely to go to war in 1914 when the First World War outbreak took place because Germany was threatening their navy. So it was a very serious rivalry. So the second problem, empire militarism. So when Germany was created in the world, it became the largest military power in the world and one of the biggest economies in the world. And yet it had no empire to show for this. The Kaiser was an emperor with only an internal Germanic empire. There was no foreign empire like France or Britain had. So it didn't feel like one of the great powers of the world. So there was a great amount of nationalist and conservative pressure in Germany for a big empire. So they had to try and improve this great power status by gaining empire. So what was their solution? So they embarked upon a policy of Weltpolitik. The Kaiser started to demand empire. As I said, the Morocco crisis in 1906, the Kaiser demanded colonies from Britain and France. Wilhelm wanted an African empire called Middle Africa. He demanded that Germany should have their place in the sun. So to help threaten Britain to give up some of its empire, he started threatening their navy by building huge battleships called dreadnoughts. Of course, this was a ruinously expensive policy to build dreadnoughts in combination, as I've said already, with socialist policies to try and improve the condition of workers, improve conditions of factories. Germany was suffering some big financial crisis because of the demands of the Kaiser and his policies. Okay, well, I hope you found that useful. And if you did, then do have a look at it a few more times and then practice one of my exam questions. You can find one about describing the problems the Kaiser faced in amongst my YouTube tutoring videos. And also you can find a full account of how to do that in my revision guide also. All right, well, look out for more of my videos and do subscribe. And I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye for now.